Welcome to the kidsministry.blog podcast. Every episode, we share ideas, tips, and resources to help your children's ministry thrive.
We've all been there, right? That knot in your stomach when you know you need to have a tough conversation, especially when it's with someone who's, giving their time as a volunteer. Feels like walking on eggshells. So today, we're diving deep into exactly that, how to approach these challenging talks effectively and, empathetically, without feeling like a monster. Our insights for this deep dive pull key strategies from a really powerful article called Talking to Volunteers When They're Driving You Insane. We found it over on the kidsministry.blog, and honestly, it's a fantastic case study. You could apply these ideas in, like any volunteer or team situation. Our mission here is to pull out some really practical, empathetic strategies to help you navigate these tricky interactions.
Yeah, they are incredibly difficult because volunteers they're giving their time for free, right? So there's always that background fear. If you say anything critical, they might just, quit. And these relationships, whether it's ministry or say coaching a kid's sports team, they're just complicated in a different way than a paid job. The article nails this tension perfectly. It mentions this experience where someone had to tell a volunteer that kids were actually scared of her because she yelled when they sealed things, like during craft time. Apparently the volunteer cried and the writer felt just awful. But kids shouldn't be terrified, right? That really shows the dilemma.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The hardest part for me often is just figuring out when. When do you even bring something up? Is there a right moment? Or maybe more importantly, a wrong one?
Definitely. Timing is huge. And the very first strategy the article highlights is, I think, critical for setting the right tone. It's wait until you're not mad. If you jump in while you're still fuming, your frustration is just going to leak out. It turns into accusations, not problem solving. The article actually contrasts two examples. One where anger led to an attack and boom, the volunteer quit. Versus waiting 3 days to talk about a volunteer who kept changing lesson plans. That conversation went much, much better because things had cooled down. You got to detox your own feelings first.
That makes so much sense. Okay, so you've waited, you've cooled off. How do you actually start the conversation? You can't just corner someone after an event, can you?
Exactly. That's the next big point. Don't ambush people. Think about it catching a volunteer right after a busy Sunday morning. Terrible idea. They're tired, probably already thinking about lunch, and definitely not ready for feedback. They'll likely just get defensive. So what the source suggests is sending a text beforehand. Ask for a specific time to chat. Something simple like, hey, could we grab coffee this week? Want to chat about Sunday mornings? It gives them a heads up that a ministry chat is coming, but doesn't drop the bombshell topic right away, which avoids, days of anxiety for them. People need that little bit of time to mentally prepare, makes them way more receptive.
Okay, I like that approach, giving them a heads up. But then when you do sit down, how do you actually open it up without immediately putting them on the defensive?
Right, that's the tricky part. And strategy 3 is key here. Say something good first. And crucially, it has to be genuine. You can't just throw out some fake praise. Volunteers often see right through that. Think about something specific they actually do well. You're so creative with the crafts, the kids really love that part. Starting with something real and positive helps them feel valued, seen, before you get into the difficult stuff. It kind of lowers the defenses.
Yeah, authenticity is key there. Okay, so you've started positive, but then actually addressing the problem, that's where I think a lot of us stumble. How do you be clear without sounding like you're attacking them personally?
This is where two strategies kind of work together. Be specific about problems and don't make it about their character. So instead of something vague and personal like, the kids don't like you, you focus on observable behavior and its impact. Use the example from before. When kids spill paint and you raise your voice, I've noticed they get scared. See the difference? It's about the action and the result. Or maybe someone's always on their phone. Instead of you're so distracted, try when you're looking at your phone during the lesson, the kids might feel like what they're saying isn't important. It's about actions people can actually change, not attacking who they are as a person.
Right. Focusing on the what, not the who. That's helpful. But what if there's something going on you don't know about? What if you're missing a piece of the puzzle?
Oh, there usually is. Which leads straight into the next point. Listen to their side. Seriously, there's almost always more going on beneath the surface. The article shared great examples like a volunteer who kept missing meetings. Turns out she was going through a really messy divorce. Another one seemed kind of grumpy all the time, but then they found out she had a child with pretty significant learning disabilities, which was just draining her. Understanding that context doesn't excuse everything, maybe, but it absolutely helps you figure out a path forward with more empathy. It helps you understand the why.
Okay, so understanding why is crucial. then how do you shift from just talking about the problem to actually, finding solutions?
Collaboratively. That's strategy 6. Suggest solutions together. Don't just march in with your list of demands. The article suggests asking them first. Something like, what do you think might help? Or what ideas do you have? Like the volunteer who kept forgetting supplies, she suggested setting phone reminders herself. And because it was her idea, she owned it and it worked. When people are part of creating the solution, they're way more invested in making it happen.
That makes perfect sense. Give them ownership. But okay, let's be real. What if you do all this? You wait. You're kind, specific, you listen, you collaborate, and things still don't change.
Yeah, that's the really tough one. And it's the next strategy. Know when to let people go. It's the hardest part, no question. Sometimes, despite your best efforts, the conversation just doesn't lead to the needed change. The source mentioned a volunteer who consistently undermined other leaders, maybe criticizing them in front of the kids or team. After multiple conversations trying to address it, they eventually had to ask her to step down. It's painful, but sometimes it's necessary for the health of the whole team or the program itself.
Yeah, that's the conversation nobody wants to have. But okay, assuming you've had the talk, whether it led to change or even letting someone go, is that the end?
Yeah.
Or there's one more step?
There's one more really important step. Follow up later. Don't just have the hard talk and disappear. Check back in after a week or two. See how things are going. A simple, hey, just wanted to see how you're doing since we talked, goes a long way. It shows you care about them as a person, not just the issue you brought up. It reinforces trust. And honestly, sometimes real, lasting change takes more than one chat. It often needs ongoing support and check-ins.
It really sounds like these conversations, never exactly fun, are just essential if you want to build a positive, effective environment.
Yeah.
I keep thinking about that line from the childrensministry.blog article. Kids deserve better than adults who are making their experience worse. And that applies to any group you're serving, really.
Exactly. It's not about making people feel bad. It's about creating a space where everyone, the volunteers, the leaders, and especially the people you're there to serve, can actually thrive. The whole ministry or team gets stronger.
So as you're listening to this, maybe take a second to think about the environments you're part of, or maybe even responsible for. Could be work, could be volunteering, could even be family stuff. Where could applying some of these strategies maybe make the biggest difference? What's just one small step you could take this week, maybe, to build a more positive and effective space for the people you lead or serve alongside?
Thanks for listening. To find more ideas, tips, and resources, go to kidsministry.blog. We'll see you next time.